you here.
Hello, 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 ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Conservative Nation with me, your gracious host, Jermaine Batio. How's everybody doing tonight? Absolutely. Looks like we got a packed house tonight. Make sure you guys are sharing because I'm going to be bringing on a very special guy. Let me tell you, my West African brother from another mother. Shout out to Phil James for the $1.99. He says, what do we have in store for tonight? Oh, let me tell you something. We got a very, very, very good treat for you guys. So make sure you guys do me a favor. Just a small favor here. As you guys know, the Facebook Nazis are after me. I don't know if it's because I'm black or if it's because, they hate my rhetoric, or if it's because, ladies and gentlemen, we are telling the truth, right? Absolutely. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let me go ahead and bring my guest here. You guys may know him, maybe not. But let me tell you something. You guys will be very, very impressed by this young man's platform. His name is Bo Strasberg from BoKnowsTheTruth. How you doing, sir?
Hey, what's going on, man? Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely, Bo. Let me tell you something. It's such a treat to get you on here. My wife is a big fan of yours. Let me tell you, very big fan. She made me into a fan. And let me tell you something. I'm very happy you're on here. Bo, how's everything going?
Everything's going great, man. Everything's beautiful. Life is beautiful. I'm a newly married man. Feels great. Life is great. And this country is great.
Absolutely. The country is great. And one thing I can tell you, I'm very happy to be in this country. I could be anywhere else in the world. Starving, trying to get food, trying to find a job. But I'm here in America, surviving and flourishing. So I'm absolutely grateful. So, Bo, since I got you on here, I have the audience here. A lot of folks here are tuned in. They want to get to know who you are. All right. I know who you are, but they don't. Can you tell us who you are?
I'm just a regular guy, man. Just a regular guy from Queens, New York. Just speaking his mind, spitting the truth, and people gravitate toward the truth, and that's a good thing. And I'm just, like I said, I'm just a regular guy, and I'm thankful for all the support and all the love.
Absolutely. And for people out there, can you tell them what your platform is about? Now, I'm going to be showing the crowd your page here. Just describe to us what would we see on your platform. I know what you do, but just tell the crowd what do you speak about on your platform?
I speak about many things. A lot of what I speak about is politics, only because I'm very interested in it. I find it very, very, especially today, very crazy and dynamic and polarizing and interesting. And I just speak my mind. I talk about a lot of different issues and just give my opinion, give facts, meet great people. I keep in touch with a lot of great people. A lot of my fans are the most loving, caring, warm people that I've ever come across that have no idea, like they don't know me, but they treat me with such love and respect, and it's beautiful. And that's all I do, man. It's just I'm myself. I'm also the kind of guy that says what's on his mind unapologetically. I rap, and a lot of what I rap about lately has been about politics, just because I rap about what I feel at the moment, and people dig that. People gravitate toward that, and it's a good feeling, and I just have fun with it, man. I'm just out here having fun. I'm not doing it for any other reason. It's a blast. We're living in the best time right now. It's a blast.
Absolutely. It's a blast. It's a fun time to be alive. And let me tell you, it's exciting time to be alive. One thing I can tell you is that America hasn't been this polarized since basically the civil rights, 1964. Right now, America is at a divide. We have people on the left who say that this country is racist. White people are racist. They want to get rid of them, right? And we got people on the right who are saying, what the heck are you talking about? America is beautiful. What racism are you speaking about? And gosh darn it, help us protect the border. That's what's going on.
Absolutely.
So with the divide happening here and yourself being a person of color, right? Can you go into a little bit about your background? As you told me, your parents come from Morocco and
That's right.
Germany. So you are a
Right.
first born immigrant like myself.
I'm a firstborn generation American. That
Mm-hmm.
my mother was born in Morocco and raised in Israel. My father was born in Germany, raised in Canada. But I'm the first that's actually born here in New York. So I don't know if I would call myself a person of color. I'm just a person. You know what I mean? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, if you just see me walking down the street, then you'd be like, oh, that white guy over there. I never associated myself with a color, just maybe a culture, religion, ethnicity of being American and Middle Eastern and Israeli. And I just have, I don't identify with one thing, and I think that's the biggest problem with today. Everyone's judging each other
Mm-hmm.
based on their color of their skin, which is ridiculous because that's like judging someone on the color of their sneakers. You know what I'm saying? Or you know what I mean? Like you can't really tell anything about somebody just by the color of their sneakers or the color of their shirt, or it's the same thing. I think it's ridiculous what's going on today.
It is. It's super ridiculous. But the left, let me tell you something, they're all into it. Especially people of color, black folks. They're into it like no other. And you can't get around it. So with you being a first generation in this country, have you seen the shift in your lifetime?
I have, and it's funny because I was just talking about this with a coworker the other day. I remember I was about maybe 9 or 10 years old, and I was with a few of my friends, and we went to McDonald's, and we're sitting down having a meal. Now, one of my friends is black, the other one is Chinese, the other one was Indian, and I think the other one was me, and I, I'm white and Jewish and whatever. We're all sitting around at the table, and I'm like, isn't it beautiful? Like we're sitting here, black, white, Chinese, and we're just hanging out, having a good time, getting along. Like it's ill. Like I like this. This is cool. And they were all like, "Yeah, that's cool. This is America." We had pride in this country, and I was 9 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and now at this day and age, and since then, I've never encountered real, actual racism.
That's what I'm talking.
Maybe I've encountered like discrete discrimination, maybe. Like in other words, for instance, put it like this: I don't have any problem with someone preferring their own or feeling more comfortable in their own. I'm sure if you were an Asian dude, you'd feel more comfortable in a room full of Asians than you would in a room full of anything else. And I don't think anything's wrong with that. I think that's just human nature.
No, yeah, that's logical.
But it's not racist to say, oh, I feel comfortable around my own and I feel a little uncomfortable around. That's not racism. I mean, they've blurred the lines of racism to the point where now everything is racist, and that's
Mm-hmm.
the problem because they're creating racism when racism doesn't exist here anymore.
You're absolutely correct. And the liberals, they would call you a person of color. You know that, right?
I don't know what they would call me. I don't know if they
Until
would
you
call me. I
disagree
don't know
with
if
them,
they.
Bo.
I don't know if they would
Until
call
you
me a
start
carrot
opening your
or.
mouth.
I've heard it all. I've heard it all. I've heard that I was a white supremacist
Yup.
Nazi, and I'm Jewish and Israeli, and I had family that died in death camps in the Holocaust. Like, they don't know what the hell they're saying.
Yeah. And I think I told you this, and for the people who are now watching who do not know, I'm first generation American myself here. My parents came here from Ghana, West Africa in the 70s. They got naturalized. I was born here. So we're both in kind of like the same boat, feeling like the cultural shifts from home to, out in the world. And one thing I can tell you, when I was growing up here in Minnesota, Minneapolis, in the 80s and 90s, it wasn't as bad as it is right now. We didn't have this baby mama syndrome where every woman you look at right now is a baby mama. We didn't have that. We had families. We had 2-parent families. We had children growing up in homes where people actually cared about them. We didn't have the craziness of what's going on right now. And another thing here too, the cultural shift, a lot of it in my eyes happened during this, this crack era. A lot of it happened during then. And then also this new, what I call third wave of feminism that happened as well, that really messed up a lot of women's minds and destroyed a lot of family homes. And that's a lot of stuff that people do not talk about. But moving on here a bit, when I was growing up, one thing I can tell you, Bo, is that black Americans in this country, they used to call me all sorts of names. Okay? I grew up in a multicultural community, but mostly heavily black. And black Americans, they would make fun of each other. They would make fun of me, my darkness. They would call me Blackie. They would call me Smoke, Train Smoke, if they were sophisticated enough. They would call me 2 minutes from midnight. I mean, it was awful, And when I looked at how the community is now, in my eyes, it has gotten even worse from where it began. What do you think about how the black community treats each other? How should I say, people of color community treat each other right now? And how do you think that works into, what's going on in the world when it comes to police brutality and also the way they view white Americans? I know that was a loaded question.
That's loaded, but I'll try my best. I'll try my best. So I think it all starts with the culture. Now, I don't think anything's wrong with people making fun of you, to be honest. I've been made fun of. My black friends used to call me white boy. White boy, white boy, white boy. Everything was a joke about me being white. The thing is, though, I didn't get offended. It was all for laughs. We're having fun. We're having a good time.
Bo,
The
this
problem
wasn't
is,
laughs. This wasn't.
I'm saying, I hear you. There's a difference between being serious and having fun and making jokes. It depends on your perception and how you take it. Now, if I was insecure about my skin color, if I felt a certain way, I had the option of either getting offended or not. Now, I believe that's totally up to you. You can't let anyone hurt you. If anyone has a problem with you, that's their problem. That's not necessarily your problem. But here's the problem I do have, is shaming other people for having different beliefs and using a skin color as an excuse. So if you are a black man and you say, I love Donald Trump, and then another black person who disagrees with you calls you a coon or calls you, any of those degrading terms, I feel like that in itself, and it might sound a little weird coming off this way, that in itself is kind of racist, because that's putting someone down based on their skin color, as assuming your skin color should determine your beliefs, as if you're programmed to believe a certain way based on your skin color. It's as ignorant as it gets. And I feel like today, it's not that the ignorance has increased today. I just feel like it's more exposed today, where, if you abandon a house for long enough, okay, and then you come in after 8 years and you start moving furniture around, you're going to see the bugs and the rats and roaches starting to scatter. That doesn't mean they all started to come there now. It means that they were there. It's just now you can see them more in the light. That's why I kind of love what Donald Trump represents as far as the hat, like the Make America Great Again
Mm-hmm.
hat and everything. It allows people to see true colors of others. You know what I mean? It allows to see. So in other words, it's like, for instance, I'm Jewish. I get a lot of anti-Semitic remarks on Facebook by people that don't know me, and they'll say what they got to say. But I look at it like this is not an increase of anti-Semitism in this country. This is just more exposed. It's more in the spotlight now. Okay, so I feel like the polarization of today and politics, the way it's divided this country, it didn't divide this country. Today is not divided more than it was yesterday. I feel like it's more exposed. The division has been there for a while. It's just now more out in the open. And that's my personal take. Because at the end of the day, skin color, religion, all these things don't matter. I remember I was in sixth grade, and a bunch of us were in the class, and it was a very diverse group in this class. And we were all making fun of each other. We're kids, you know what I'm saying? We'll make fun of each other. Oh, you're black. Oh, you're white. Oh, you're Chinese. Oh, like a joke. Whatever. We're kids. We don't really know real racism as kids. We're just having fun and being stupid. And my teacher shut that shit down real quick. He said, he said, first of all, this is not a black person. This is a person. This is not a white person. This is a person. This isn't a Chinese person. This is a person. And I grew up with that in my mind. Like, yeah, we're all people. And I know black people that feel like the police are out to get every single black person. And I know black people that don't see it at all. Or they see it as, if you disrespect the cops, you're going to get into trouble. So there's different ways of looking at things regardless of your skin color. And I think a lot of people are starting to wake up to that now.
Absolutely. And I want to just go ahead and piggyback off what you said, with Donald Trump in the hat. The hat, in my eyes, represents unity along all different colors, because all different colors are wearing the hat and they're standing for a country, right? You can't
right.
say that about the left. The left, they're all about division and they're about color. They only care about color. And the reason why I brought up the black community here, and I want to go ahead and give you my thoughts on it here. And black Americans in this country, they have a lot of hatred, a lot of inner hatred, hating towards themselves. That's why they make fun of each other. And when you are growing up in a community like this, where black Americans make fun of each other in a sense where not even make fun of each other, but really dig on each other over the color. What it does is it creates a paradigm of thinking in a young person's brain.
Are you talking about dark skinned black dudes against light skinned black
versus
dudes?
light skin?
Okay, all right.
Okay, you know where I'm going with that, right? It's an inner
okay.
hatred, all right?
Okay.
The hatred from the white man comes from that as well. I don't know if you know this, but majority of black folks do not like white folks at all. They absolutely don't. And the main reason why this is because they believe, in a sense, most of them believe that they've gotten the short end of the stick. And in my eyes, it's because of the self-taught hatred and the way, what you said, the way you look at the world, right? Your perspective.
Right.
So the perspective in the black community is that white people are against us. America has always been a bad place. And if you're light skinned, you're the best skin. That's what it is right now. And it's a terrible thing that's going on. And a lot of that is transpiring into a lot of these politics you're seeing right now, right? Where they only care about skin color right now. They're looking at Donald Trump. He's too white to run the country, right? Anybody who's white on the left right now, they don't want them to run. They're talking about white privilege. How much white. So it's a big issue. That's the only reason why I bring up the color issue, because no matter, we can talk about all this other stuff, but on the other side, that's their main issue, is color. So
It's a
in my
mentality.
eyes, it's something that needs to be addressed. But let's go ahead and move on here. So let's speak about Trump. Now, Trump is making waves all across America right now. I love Trump ever since I seen him roll down the escalator and he start calling Marco Rubio Lil Marco. When he called him Lil Marco, I said, that's the man right there. Slam dunking. Now, Trump, in my eyes, is a truth teller. He doesn't care about your genitalia. He doesn't care about your color. He doesn't care about your height. He will tell you the truth just like how real men used to do, right? They
Sure.
would just give it to you so that they can, get along and get done with business.
That's
What do
right.
you think about what Trump's doing with our economy right now? And also, what do you think about Trump diverting funds from the military to build the border wall?
I think he's doing great on the economy. Absolutely great. He has record numbers. He's beating his, I mean, first of all, he beat the record of lowest unemployment in history, and then he beat that record again. And he beat the record of black unemployment, Asian unemployment, Hispanic unemployment, women unemployment. The economy is booming. We have the lowest amount of regulations now. I mean, he's doing big things, man. And I think what he's doing for this country policy wise is great. I think what a lot of people have a problem with him is with the fact that they don't really know the policies he's been doing, like prison reform and like the First Step Act and stuff like that. They don't know about it. All they know is his rhetoric. So you said you loved Trump the second you saw him come down the escalator. See, the thing is with me, first time I
Could
saw
it could
Trump
it be
running for
that they
president,
know about it but they don't care?
that's true too, because
Because I
a
know a
lot of
lot of
them,
folks who know about it and they don't care
why do you think they don't care?
because they have hatred in their heart.
Could be that. It could be also the fact that if you're right that Trump is not this white supremacist Nazi dictator Russian Putin puppet, then they've been wrong the entire time. The entire time. Not
Mm-hmm.
like a little wrong. Like like like
Mm.
mind-blowingly wrong. So they don't the last thing they want to do is admit that. Listen, it's one thing to admit, "Oh, I was wrong about that." It's not it's no it's one thing to admit that. It's another to say, "Oh, I was wrong about everything." There's a difference. So inside it's like they don't want to believe it. They're in denial. And it's one of the stages of grief. Eventually they're going to come around because you can only deny it for so long. And right now they're in denial. If you're with someone that betrayed you, at first you're going to be in denial. No, this can't be, because then that would mean I was wrong about everything the entire time. I don't even know this person. So it's a natural human instinct to not want to just jump on the belief bandwagon just because you're hearing facts. At first, you're going to get a little defensive, a little denial. Wait a minute, hold on. But think about it like this. If you prove to them that Trump is not a white supremacist, just that alone, they're wrong about everything else. So it's not easy to accept it. So a lot of it is based out of ignorance. The other one is based out of pride. They have too
Mm-hmm.
much pride to admit that they're wrong. And it's okay to be wrong. They have to understand it's not about right or wrong. It's not a competition. We're all in this together. And the thing is about make America great again. America includes the liberals, includes white and black and Asian. It's America. Since when did America come associated with any kind of color? We're all American. This is all about America. Have pride in your country, because if you have pride in your country, you have pride in yourself. And that's the right kind of pride to have, rather than, oh, I can't be wrong about everything. Why not? I even said it to my fans. I said, maybe Trump is this Nazi white supremacist Putin puppet. Maybe. But I don't really think so, based on the facts. And guess what? If I'm wrong at the end, I'll have no problem saying, damn, I was duped. Holy crap. But I highly doubt I'm wrong.
you know, we would have already known this by now. One thing I know is that if you have hatred in your heart, it's really hard for you to see the truth. It
That's
really
right.
is. And a lot of people, if they just take a step back and just honestly objectively just look at what's going on, there's no way that you could have the liberal narrative. You get what I'm saying? Like, literally, there's no way that you could go along with that narrative. But people are not willing to do this, Bo. And in my eyes, I look at it like this. A lot of people have hatred in their heart. And just like you said, pride, the root of pride is anger. It's hatred. You know what I'm saying? That's where pride comes from. It's the root.
And it's a more anger, hatred is a more powerful emotion than just passive, contentment and joy. And it's a lot more powerful. That's why the media is selling all this anger and hatred and division. Not only because, they might have an agenda because they want to cause a civil war, but I think it's also about money and greed. They want the ratings. People click on CNN when they see that Trump said something about, Mexicans are rapists. Then it sells. But it won't sell if he just says he wants to build a wall, to keep the Americans safe and keep the country nice and secure. It doesn't sell as well. It's easier to say he wants to put up a wall because he hates Mexicans. That sells. So, that alone is an agenda in it of itself. The fact that they want to make money on people's hatred and anger. What does that say about the media?
Yeah, it tells you that the media isn't on our side. The media is all about money.
The thing about it like this, too. If the media starts reporting the news honestly and starts getting these facts right, that means they, too, were wrong about everything. And think about how hard. Now, this is beyond even pride at this point. This is credibility. This is money. Now, if they turn around and start reporting the truth, they're going to report how discredible they were the entire time, which will make them lose credibility and lose money. They ain't trying to do that. They're not trying to do that. I see it clear as day. I see this clear as day. And I was talking about this with a friend. I even said it on my live a couple days ago. I really think we're living in a parallel universe where my color red is your color blue. So I see red and you see blue. We see a Trump hugging the American flag, a patriot, and they see a Nazi, Hitler, white supremacist. And maybe they really see him in that uniform. I have no idea, because it's getting to that point where it's getting so ridiculous. I'm starting to think maybe they really do see him with that mustache or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I told my audience that I think it's like two different thought streams, two different universes going on, and people are tapping into two different ones depending on your vibrational level. I don't know.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Because
I believe that.
Yeah, because literally we could both see the same thing, and then the idiot on the left would say, "Oh, this is straight up racist. He used peanut butter." I mean, you hear what I'm saying? Like, what?
Right. Like when Trump did that whole "very fine people" video, the reporter was like, So wait. Are you saying that who do you say they're not being treated very well? Are you saying the white supremacists were not being treated well? No. but that's the thing. They're I think they hear either they have an agenda, they know the truth, and they're trying to deviate, or they really are seeing something we are not seeing. Because I had to actually make a breakdown of that "very fine people" video to show how obviously he wasn't talking about Nazis and neo-Nazis, white supremacists as being very fine people, because in the same sentence he said, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists. So, okay, either you saw just a clip of it, I'll give you a pass on that. You just saw a clip. Can't blame you. I can make anything look bad by editing and make it into a clip. Someone could take this interview that we're having right now and make it look like whatever they want to make it look like. So that I'm going to give them a pass on. But after knowing and after reporting and after seeing the story retracted after retraction after retraction, when does it get to a point where, like, bro, just take this L? You know what I'm saying? Take this L. And there's no pride lost in taking that L. As a matter of fact, it'll uplift you. It'll make you a better person by saying, okay, you know what? Nah, he changed my mind. He changed my mind. You know Dave Rubin?
Oh yeah, I know Dave Rubin. He used to be a liberal.
Right. And he got schooled, right,
Mm-hmm.
on his own show by what's his name? Larry Elder.
Larry Elder.
He got schooled on his own show. You would think he'd be like, no, no, I'm right. You're a coon. You're a this. You're a that. No, he sat there and was like, wait a minute, this guy's making sense. Why go in the opposite direction of what's making sense? All right, you know what? All right, I was wrong. And he got so much respect from that, from the left and the right, except not from the hard left, because the hard left, they're out of their freaking mind. But the moderates and the left-leaning moderates and the right, and they gained a lot of respect for him for saying, I heard the facts and it makes sense to me, and now I believe it.
Yeah, and the thing is, he also admitted a lot of the stuff he was thinking was through emotion. And that's
Right.
what the left has. Bo, the left has emotion, and with emotion, there's no logic there. It's just feelings. Just because you feel something is correct doesn't mean it's correct. And that's
I'm sure
what's
we all
going on
heard.
with the liberals.
I'm sure we all heard the saying. Never make a decision when you're angry.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, we've been taught this when we were kids, and I'm not. I didn't learn this. I'm the only one that learned this. Everybody learned it. Never make a decision when you're angry. But meanwhile, they're voting angry. You know what I mean? You're voting for people to run this country angry?
Yep.
What are you doing?
That's how we got AOC, Rashida Tlaib.
Don't even get me started
all
on that.
Them crazy wenches. Let me tell you something. But let's speak about another crazy wench that is in the news right now, Bo. I sent you this clip earlier. A lot of folks are speaking about this. I ran the local news story on my show. 2 days later, the national media had to catch up. And this is about a girl named Brooke Schuyler. She's a high school cheerleader. And she buried her newborn in her parents' backyard.
I got goosebumps.
And after that, she texted her mom, yeah, my belly is back. Let me go ahead and remind the crowd of this. And I want to get your take when it comes back, because a lot of people, when I ran it a day ago, they were heartbroken. It's just a crazy thing. So let's go ahead and take a look. Here we go.
She had her baby at home, alone, and no one knew. Now, Brooke Schuyler Richardson is on trial, accused of killing her newborn daughter. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm Craig McKee.
And I'm Kristen Hartman. The trial is now underway as doctors testify about this secret pregnancy. Evan Millward is on your side live with the questions which will decide this case. Evan.
Yeah, and the testimony is over for today, Kristen and Craig, but the 7 women and 5 men on this jury will hear every little detail to help them decide whether they believe one of 2 pictures. Was Brooke Schuyler Richardson an intimidated, embarrassed teenager tragically trying to cover up a mistake, or was she a manipulative teen who decided that no one would ever know that she had gotten pregnant? When you look at Brooke Schuyler Richardson, the young woman you see depends on which side you believe. They even call her a different name.
Brooke Richardson killed a baby that she didn't want and never intended to keep.
Schuyler was a gentle, loving, kind individual who had problems, would not hurt an insect.
Richardson is charged with the 2017 death of her newborn that her attorneys say she named Annabelle. The girl's bones were found buried in the Richardsons' Carlisle backyard 2 months later.
Just hours after discarding that baby's lifeless body in the dirt, she texted her mother, "I'm literally speechless with how happy I am." Shortly after that text message, she followed it up with another text message to her mother. "I am literally so excited now just for dinner to wear something cute. Yay. My belly is back. Now I am taking this opportunity to make it amazing."
Her defense team says that is taken out of context. Richardson fought eating disorders for years. She always texted about things like that.
Looking back on hindsight, were Schuyler focusing on the only thing she thought she could control at the time, which is her body.
Prosecutors say she admitted her daughter was alive for 5 minutes and that she maybe squeezed her too hard. They got that during this second interview.
And I don't think you tried to kill her, but I think there were signs that she was, and I want you to please, for her, just tell us what those were.
Which her defense says shows the problem with the case.
This case is about a rush to judgment. And it's all about that second interrogation. It's the whole case.
And just one look at some of the differences that we saw here in the first day of testimony today, or I should say next at 6. We are going to hear from her doctor as they try to answer the question, was this baby girl stillborn or was she born alive?
And we'll stop it right there. So, Bo, now the crowd is reminded about this story here. You've heard the story. What do you think about this? What's going on with these young girls nowadays? What is going on?
I mean, look, from what I gathered from that video, it's still under investigation. But what I'm hearing, the prosecutor saying that, she buried the newborn and they found bones, and she sent this text messages that she's happy to have her belly again. And then her defense is saying, she had an eating disorder. First of all, if you have an eating disorder, you're skinny. I don't think you really, I don't think, I mean, I guess you could say if you're really fat, then you have an eating disorder, but usually I associate that with anorexia.
Yeah. She doesn't look anorexic.
Like, are you worried that after you have the baby, you're not going to get a flat tummy again if you're anorexic? All right, that's one. 2, the defense is saying she wouldn't hurt a fly. All right. All right. Today, they probably value a fly's life more than a baby. I mean, look, I'm not going to judge anyone based on that. See, that whole pro-choice, pro-life argument is very, very, very complicated. I understand. My thing is this. Yeah, I'm pro-life, but I'm not for the government getting involved because that can get into dicey territory. I think that's a moral issue between you and your creator. Now, I understand it's in your body, so technically you have the power to terminate this pregnancy, which I believe is wrong, but I don't think it should be illegal. I think that's between you and God. As far as making the decision, I think that should be on both parents, the one carrying the child and the one that planted the seed in the woman. So I think it takes both. And if one party, whether it be the mother or the father, say, I don't want to have an abortion, then they shouldn't be allowed to have an abortion. And let's say the father says, I want to have this baby. She goes, no, I don't want to have this baby. Then legally, I think if it has to get to a whole legal standpoint, then legally you should have that baby and he should have custody. But if both parents agree, that's between them, their doctor, and God. Do I think it's right? No, I think it's wrong. But I don't think the government should get involved because then it gets very dicey. Remember, I like Trump. I don't like the government.
Yeah. And I want to go ahead and give Chris Lonker a shout out. Chris Lonker got us to our goal. He donated. Thank you so much for donating, helping us out, helping us keep these lights on that gosh darn it make me sweat like a Hebrew slave. Thank you so much.
That's racist. That's racist.
I know. but the way I look at it like this here, and on my show, we're very honest about what's going on here. We look at it like this. America and this new generation, we haven't really taught the young women about personal responsibility.
Right.
Personal responsibility is lacking in a lot of these new age women in 2019. All right. Back in the day, they knew about personal responsibility because they knew that if they were to have a baby out of wedlock without the father being there, that would be a hard time, right? You wouldn't get help. You would be shunned by the community for good reason. And the reason why is because when you have a child without a father, most of the time the child doesn't grow up correctly.
That's right.
If you look at the statistics, they're staggering. I mean,
Of
all
course.
you have to do is take a look at the black community. The black community should be a shining example of the reason why you need a father in your home.
Absolutely.
And a lot of the culture right now is producing what we call this baby mama syndrome. One of the hottest shows out right now, Bo, is 16 and Pregnant, Teen Mom OG, right? Where women sit around, they have these illegitimate children, right? They're laughing, chasing men on child support, right? Drinking cocktails. That's the life, right? That's the life of the new age single mom. And what that does is it puts a vision in a lot of young girls' minds that, hey, I don't have to wait to get married. I don't have to wait till I have a good relationship to have a child. I can have a child all by myself, quote unquote, with the man just being the sperm donor, right? And when that happens, we produce a society that's not good at all. We produce a society that is fatherless. We produce a society that doesn't have a strong foundation in family. Because I believe family is the bedrock here in America. Without family, gosh darn it, let me tell you, it's a hard life.
Fully agree.
So, in my eyes, we have to do a better job of teaching our young women about personal responsibility. Because I know women out there, they love to use, hey, it takes two to tango. I understand that, but we have to look at reality. It takes one to carry. And if you're not in a good, solid relationship, if you're not married and something happens, let me tell you, it's a hard life for that mother. And I don't think women should be placed in that type of position to raise a child by themselves. It's an unfair condition, and it's very hard. But a lot of women are now choosing to do that based upon the culture. And when I look at how the culture is, a lot of them do not value life, because if you can just go ahead and have sex all willy-nilly without even thinking about the consequence, and something happens, I don't like your hair anymore, I'm going to go have an abortion. I played a video, Bo, about a woman who was twerking. She was listening to City Girls. She was twerking with some Henny right before she had her abortion. She says, I don't care about this kid. I'm a get this F nigga kid off my stomach. And she had her abortion. So it's the culture that is producing a lot of these women with the perspective that, hey, you know, I don't care whatever happens, I can get rid of it, which to me is a bad culture to set up. And it's a bad precedence for future women growing up. What do you think about that?
I fully agree. I'm going to go a step further and talk about, you know, the over sexualization of today's Hollywood music and stuff like that. Like I was just watching. I wasn't really watching the whole VMAs. I was only watching the clips. And there was a clip of
Taylor
like
Swift?
this. I saw Taylor Swift
with all them trannies up there.
Yeah, I mean that's one. What about the other one? I forgot her name, but she was a big girl, and she had a bunch of big girls on stage, and then a big ass fucking bubble butt on the stage, and then all of them are twerking, and everyone's screaming and shouting. I mean, this is an ongoing thing. It desensitizes you to the sexualization and, you know, the increased amounts of porn and technology that's allowing people to indulge in these kind of fetishes. And then you have the internet, which allowed you unlimited access to these kinds of things. And it's a combination of all of that with the media and everything. And then it gets to a point where now it's just about sex, when sex used to be about having children. Now it's mostly about I just want to have fun. And then, okay, no one's saying don't have fun. You know, you have condoms, you have birth control pills and everything. But when does someone take accountability? When they are mature, when they understand and value life, when they value it, when they look at it like it's an inconvenience, and then they
Yep.
have an abortion based on that. That's the majority of abortions. A lot of people like to talk about the cases of rape and incest and stuff like that. That's a very small percentage, as opposed to women that are just young
Less
or
than
in
1%.
less than 1%. And then you have women that are very young, or they're in bad financial situations, and they feel like it's going to be bad for the child. So kill the child. I mean, that's better. I mean, then why don't you kill your child after they're born then? I mean, you're poor. Let's say you're poor and you can't really provide that much food. You have to work 2-3 jobs just to put food in your kid's mouth. Why don't you make your life easier and just kill your kid right there? Save yourself a lot of money and aggravation. So why is life valued after the birth but not before the birth? It's still a baby at the end of the day, whether it's inside or outside. So we can argue about when it takes its first breath, when it has its first heartbeat. At the end of the day, because no one can come to a definite definition of when it is a life, that's why people on the right and conservatives err on the I'm just pro-life. It's just pro-life and or anti-abortion. You know what I mean? So that's also a very polarizing topic, and a lot of people are very sensitive on this issue. A lot of people, like Dave Chappelle said, if you have a dick between your legs, stay out of this one. I got to stay out of this one when I'm the one that planted it in
but
there.
then he also followed up with, "It's my wallet, my choice." So
Right,
figure that
and
out. So what he
find that
did was he
hilarious.
played the game, and then he flipped it.
Right. And also he said he's pro-choice or pro-life depending on who he gets pregnant.
Yeah.
Now, if you're a man and you're young and you just want to have sex with multiple women, the last thing you want to do is have a baby. So, it's understandable when you're young and immature and don't understand life like that. You would say, you should have an abortion. Well, what are you, like Chris Rock said, what are you going to do? What do you mean, what are you going to do? She's going to have this baby. Like, that should be the automatic, oh, shit, we're having a baby. Now we got to do something about it. Now we have 9 months to prepare ourselves. I mean, you don't get a girl pregnant and then a baby just comes out and, shit, I got to go get diapers. You have 9 months to prepare. Mentally, physically, financially, you have time. Listen, you have choices in life. And to feel like, my body, my choice. Okay, then why is it bad when the guy says, all right, my money, my choice? They always have a problem with that, with these things. So I understand the woman's carrying the child. It's in her body, but it wouldn't have been in her body. It wouldn't have been in her body if it wasn't for the man that put it in there. Now, if the man leaves, and it's all on her, like I said, I believe that's up to her and God. Because at the end of the day, God's going to judge her. I'm not judging people that have an abortion. I think it's wrong, but I'm not going to judge you off that. I'm not going to think you're a horrible person. But deep and down inside, I might think, you know what? I think it's morally wrong. And I think it's considered a sin. But at the same time, that's not up to me to decide your punishment or legality issues or anything like that. At the end of the day, that's between you and God. I think the government should stay out.
That's straight up love, let me tell you. That's what we call real love right there. You don't have to hate a person just because they had an abortion, but you can hate the action. You can hate what the action of it, the decision of it. You can. And a lot of people don't understand that distinction there. One thing I know is that if men are able to stand up and it really boils down, in my eyes, to the weakness of men in this country. A lot of men are just betas.
That's right.
To tell
100%.
you the truth, a lot of men are thinking about the poo-tang and scoring and a woman's feelings rather than standing up for what they believe is the truth in their own right. Men are sitting back as their rights are being trampled all day long. Especially when it comes to this abortion and being able to see your kids in family court. Look at the men. The men are like Disneyland dads. On average, men are able to see their children, twice a month. And every other weekend. Do you know that that's the average here in America?
That's crazy.
And it's because men have sat back and allow these what I call activist, crazy feminist women, the ones that hate men, to stand forward and the beta men who support them. If men were strong if men actually cared about what was going on,
if men were men,
exactly, none of this would happen. I'm telling you, none of this would be going on. And it's because of the weakness of men in this country, the reason why women are killing their own offspring. Men don't think about it like this. They're killing your child. And you're sitting back and allowing it because she tells you some cockamamie story of my body, my choice. And then on top of that, she tells you don't even have a choice. If I have this baby, you're going to take care of it. If I kill it, gosh darn it, the government or somebody going to help me do it. I mean, we're getting to a point where, Bo, I'm thinking like, she's a terrorist. You can't even make a move. You get what I'm saying?
Listen, man, a lot of these pro-choice women, a lot of the extremists, the ones in that respect, if it wasn't for their mother being pro-life, you know what I'm saying? They wouldn't even be here. Like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, look, we could do this all day.
I know.
At the end of the day, I understand both sides of the argument. Me personally, I don't think the government should get involved, because anytime a government gets involved, especially in our personal lives like that, for instance, I think it's morally wrong to masturbate, but people are still going to do it. It's not like, it's the government should come in and just give me a fucking ticket or lock me up for masturbating. Now, in public, yeah, because that's a whole different story. But is it morally wrong according to the Bible? Is it morally wrong? Is it a sin? Yes, it's a sin. So, that's up to her and God. That's between her and God. I think I also don't think it's an evil person. Like, maybe this woman that you just put up, Brooke, forgot her last name.
Oh, don't worry about it. She loved to kill babies anyway.
Look, if she did that, and it seems like she did. I'm not, it's still under investigation.
I believe it.
That's evil. But most women, they're not thinking of. They're not. It's not that they just want to kill babies. I just think they don't value life. They don't see the importance of it. They don't see
Absolutely.
the women that wanted to have abortion, not because they wanted to have an abortion, but because they didn't want to inconvenience the baby or inconvenience their lives. Then they end up having the baby, and they realize it's the best thing they ever decided for in their life, to have this gift. This child is a gift from God. And if you don't believe in God, you technically don't really value life, because you don't believe that you're here for any kind of special reason. You're just here by a freak accident of the cosmos, and you have no purpose. You're not here for any reason, so you don't really value life like that. I think if you're a God-fearing human,
and I believe they don't value men either, because if they valued men, they would allow them to be a part of the process, but they don't care about men. That's why they run to these laws here. So I believe in a sense.
Hold on. To be fair, you also have a culture of men not being men. And
absolutely.
Making the woman have to be the man for her child.
Raised by their mama. It's exactly. A cycle.
It sucks that they have to be the mother and the father for their child, because the father is a how do you call it, a deadbeat. You know what I mean? And you have a lot of them out there.
Imagine this, Bo, imagine this. You're raised by your mama, and I've spoken to a lot of men. They cried on my couch when I was a correctional counselor. They were raised by their mama. And let me tell you, guess who they were crying for when they were on the couch? They were crying for their daddy. They weren't crying for their mama. They were crying for their daddy. And the reason why I say this is because it's a perpetual type of a cycle. When you're not raised in a good home, whether your mom or dad there, but mostly in this era is the mom there, you grow up with anger. You grow up without having this duality, what I call logic and emotion, things to even you out in life. You get what I'm saying? To make you sane. When you don't have that, you grow up with a lot of irresponsibility. You grow up without having personal accountability. And this is what happens to a lot of young men who are being raised by single moms. It's a perpetual cycle. When you're raised by, you understand that. So they get with the guys who are raised by single moms, and then the guys are not real men and they take off. And after that, They blame and say, oh, well, I hate men. Men are not real men. Well, gosh darn it, it's because these men weren't raised correctly.
That's right. That's right. That's why they say, be a man and raise your child. Be a man. Like, I don't know if you know Jesse Lee Peterson. You know, he has his
absolutely
own,
love him.
Yeah, so he asks his guests all the time at the very end, what is a man? Now, the reason why he asked that is because there's a different answer. Everyone has a different answer, their own definition. But what a man really is being accountable for your actions. That's being a man. And I have a friend who, yes, I understand having a baby when you're young, you know, it's hard and it's difficult, especially when you're still developing in your own brain. But some people, like my friend, was like, I'm going to be a man and I'm going to have this child at 15. And now his son is a smart, good young man, a Harvard student. You understand? So I get it. It's hard, but life wasn't really meant to be easy. I don't know why people are complaining when life gets hard, when life throws curveballs. It's part of the fun, man. The part of the fun of life is to overcome these things. If everything was just handed to you, you would take everything for granted. That's why I say be a man and own up to your actions, own up to your responsibilities, and I think everything will just work out. Because I'm sorry, if you work really hard, it pays off. If you raise your child and you do it right, the best of your ability, I think you're gonna have beautiful things happen in your life. It's a gift.
It is. It's a gift. Most men gotta understand that it takes a lot to be a man. It does. I know. The liberals will say, "Oh, being a man doesn't mean anything." But let me tell you something. Being a man in this world right now, every decision you make, you're responsible for. There's no safety net. I want men to understand that. I've said this before. Every decision you make, you're responsible for. There's not a safety net. Don't act like your mama where there's a guy chasing after her with a checkbook or the government. You're not her. You're the other guy. So you have to...
think about it like this. You saw Boys in the Hood.
Oh, yeah.
His father gave him the best advice. You know, I'm going to raise you to be a man, because it taught people watching, like, if you don't have that father figure to teach you how to be a man, it's kind of hard to blame them, because they don't know what it's like to be a man.
Exactly.
They're raised by their mother, and then they have to go through a much harder time with that lack of masculine discipline in their life. I'm not saying the father is the most important thing, but you have to have both. You have to have the mother and the father, the yin and the yang, the balance of life. I'm not saying you can't be a man if you don't have your father around. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying statistics show that you are going to be you're more likely to be successful if you have both parents in the household. That's
Absolutely.
just facts.
You know,
that's just
and
reality.
I've had men on here, even right in the stream, even right now, saying without them being raised without a father was a very hard life for them. I had a guy write me that he had to stomp the bitch out of him every day when he looked in the mirror. So it's a real thing, and it's a real deal. Well, Bo, buddy, we are out of time.
Oh, man, it's been fun.
I know. We had a fantastic conversation, let me tell you. The crowd is loving it. I want to thank you so much for coming on here. Before we go, tell the crowd where we can get your stuff at, what things you're working on, what's going on in your neck of the woods.
I can't give out too much. I'm trying to keep it a secret. I
No
got
doubt.
some big projects coming out. Look out for that. Definitely new raps coming out and all of that. You can find me on BoKnowsTheTruth.com. You can look up all my social media accounts, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Bo Knows the Truth. If you forget, go on Google, type in Bo Knows the Truth in one word, and you'll find all my stuff there. And I have a lot of stuff coming out in the works, man. And it's been a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, man. I really do appreciate it. You know, I try to get people like yourself on here every once in a while, just to speak, to get people's names out there for us to chit chat and, link up. A lot of this movement, I believe, is from people like me and you and others who are linked up and who are able to give the truth and be able to express what's going on. A lot of people are really searching for that right now. So I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, my West African brother from another
pleasure,
mother.
bro.
Thank you for coming on.
You got it, man. Take care.
Absolutely. Peace.
Peace.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. How was that interview there? That interview was awesome, right? I know. I want to go ahead and thank the producer, Amber Bazio, for helping us out, helping us get the interview as well. Make sure you guys go ahead and check out Bo, all right? Bo Knows the Truth. All right? Let me tell you something. He got very, very good content over there. His platform is really good. So make sure you guys go ahead and check it out. All right. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the conversation. Right. We just sat down and had a real conversation. Something that a lot of people are missing in their life nowadays. Just sitting down and chit-chatting, So that's what's going on. That's what the deal is. So I would like, again, to thank Bo for coming on. He was such a treat. We'll try to get him back on soon. All right. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for hanging out with us. Shout out to Phil James 1. He says, great show, Jermaine. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Really do appreciate it. All right. And I'll be on here tomorrow. I believe Barry might be on. We're trying to figure out a time. If not, he'll probably be on Thursday. So we'll see. But Barry may be on tomorrow. We're going to be, as you guys know, he's our Middle Eastern expert, right? Yeah, and for people who don't know Barry Nussbaum is from the American Truth Project. They sponsor our show as well. All right, and American Truth Project is a very, very good organization that gives us, ladies and gentlemen, the vital security risks here that we are facing in America. Barry usually is if you watch OWN, if you watch OWN, you'll know who Barry Nussbaum is because he's frequently on OWN. He's their expert on OWN, and he's frequently on the Ledger. He'll be on actually on the Ledger this Friday. So Barry Nussbaum is a big guy. He worked in the government, very big guy. Can't divulge too much, but he's a very big guy. So I just want to go ahead and point that out there. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I got to go. As you guys can see, I'm sweating like crazy. And I got to put out some videos and finish doing some editing on a movie here. So make sure you guys catch us tomorrow for another banging episode, all right? You guys take care. Love ya. Take care of your children. And I'll catch you guys later, all right? Peace.